The UNC Pembroke football team finished its season on a high note, defeating Limestone 31-14 to finish the season with a 6-4 record. The win included JoJo Spann catching a school record 13 passes and BJ Brunn breaking the school record for single-season receiving yards. The volleyball team also finished its 2015 season with a 5-set win against Francis Marion in the final week of play. Nicole Matthews finished 4th in the Peach Belt Conference in kills, and Alicia Paplow finished as the conference leader in service aces. UNCP Wrestling won a pair of dual meets against Belmont Abbey and Spartanburg Methodist, and then sent 6 wrestlers to the UCF Open, all of whom placed in the top 6 in their respective weight classes. The men's basketball team opened its regular season at the PBC SAC Challenge in Florence, South Carolina, splitting a pair of games against Lenore Rhine and Catawba. This weekend, the Braves are at the Pickle Classic in Mount Olive, and the women's basketball team began its season with 2 games against Division I opponents. The Braves defeated Campbell 67-62 on Friday before dropping a contest against UNC Wilmington. Freshman Avery Locklear led the Braves in scoring in both games, shooting better than 50% from deep for the weekend. The Black and Gold Report starts now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Black and Gold Report presented by Pepsi, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics. I'm Jenna Davison, and today on the show we're going to be sitting down with head football coach Shane Richardson to talk about the final game of the season, and in the second half of the show we're going to be talking to head men's basketball coach Ben Miller. But first, we're joined again by Coach Richardson. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Jenna, for having me one last time this semester.
Well, we have a short amount of time with you today, so let's dive right into Saturday's game. The Braves finished off a perfect 5-0 season at home with a 31-14 victory over a much improved Limestone squad at Grace P. Johnson Stadium. What were your takeaways from Saturday's season finale?
Yeah, I thought Limestone did a great job. They were definitely much improved. I was really pleased to see our guys finish the right way and go out on a high note. We had started so quickly this season and jumped out to a great record, and mid-season kind of hit some bumps and some tough opponents, and then it was good to see that we were able to come back home, keep our winning streak alive at home, and send the seniors out the right way, and I think they did that very well on Saturday.
Well, you had a pretty solid effort on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. The offense racked up nearly 400 yards of offense, while Code Black limited the Saints to just 54 rushing yards and forced 3 turnovers. Is that the type of game that you like to see from your team, or that your team play heading into the offseason?
I thought it was great. I thought early on it was a little bit frustrating defensively. We gave up a few big plays, and it led to 14 points before the half. But we were able to settle down. We were able to really get the problems worked out for the second half, and really felt good about what they did in their second half performance. Offensively, I thought we were in control for most of the game, and then I thought we kind of got sloppy towards the end. So there were a couple patches right there that are good for us to continually keep improving, but overall, I thought we complemented each other very well, and we put in a very good, solid, complete game together.
Well, we have some of the video highlights from that game. Do you mind walking us through them?
Absolutely. So offensively, I really felt like we were in control most of the day in the passing game, and here you see wide receiver BJ Bunn across the middle and Pat O'Brien connecting with him. They were playing us mostly in cover 2, cover 4, and we thought we were able to get a beat on that. And again, you see throwing a touchdown here, Pat O'Brien in the end zone. And I thought that they did a fantastic job of finding the creases and the seams and really attacking the defensive secondary. Our hit squad right here on the kickoff cover, they were great all day. It always helps when you have Matt Davis and able to kick the ball close to the end zone. Defense comes up with an interception here. We get pressure on the quarterback, and I believe Brandon Watson comes up with the interception. Those takeaways are good to see on defense. We really need those to help the offense out. Rontonio Stanley goes in for the touchdown here. Again, going back to the air. And again, you can see just we attack the seams and the creases. A lot of them were across the middle. Matt Davis had a very solid field goal on the day. He was very solid all year long, and couldn't be more proud of the production that he put in. Another fantastic effort of making an interception, and it was good to see guys flying around, and when you have to dive for balls, it means that we're showing effort. And right here, this is where our defensive tackle, Ed Hopper, actually makes an interception, which is very rare because he's the biggest guy in the field. Come up with a sack late in the game to keep them out. I was really excited on that last drive. As a defensive coach, you don't want to allow more points than you need to, and we were able to play some guys down the stretch, but they put together a drive. We didn't want them to score, and our guys came up with a good finishing drive defensively to kind of cap it off, and that was really good to see.
Well, the Braves finished off a 4-game turnaround from last season's 2-8 record. What are some of the differences and the feelings about your team now than where you were at the same time a year ago?
A year ago, you go 2-8, and it's pretty disappointing, and it's hard to maybe see what needs to take place for the future, and there's maybe some discouraging feelings that go along with it. But I think now you can see that the plan and the process was put into place in the offseason. We carried out the plan for the majority of the time throughout the fall, and it worked. You know, we went 6-4. I think there's probably some games that you look back on and say, you wish you would have played better, but we were able to turn it around and at least have a winning season. And I think just looking at it now, there's kind of some steam ahead of picking up, and the train is really picking up some good speed here, and I really look forward to this offseason. It's going to be exciting.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to continue talking to head football coach Shane Richardson, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. We're still joined by head football coach Shane Richardson. Coach, unfortunately, you had to say goodbye to 14 seniors on Saturday, including some pretty recognizable names in Mike Keck, John Rich, Kendall Jacobs, and Marquin Hill. What kind of legacy have those seniors left on your program, and what will the Braves miss most about that group next season?
They were a part of the transition, and so last year going through a 2-8 season, and then they were the seniors to take over kind of the lead of what it was going to look like for the future. And I think they really left a great legacy of turning the program around and kind of leading the charge as to what it's going to look like now. Being able to go 6-4 their senior year after such a tough year last fall, I think says a lot about them and speaks volumes of their leadership and their ability to go out and play well, perform well, and really buy into the plan and the process that we talked about all year long. And so definitely going to miss those guys. They brought a lot of great leadership, they brought a lot of great experience, a lot of great character in that group right there. And so I'll miss seeing them in the front row of the team meetings and just being able to rely on them for their input, and a lot of really good guys in that group. And so we'll miss them a lot.
Well, if you had to put your finger on 1 to 2 of the biggest improvements on your team from Game 1 this season to Game 10, what would they be?
Well, I think offensively we really improved a lot. And if you look at our scoring production, we started out and we kind of hovered around that 21-point range. And even when we were winning games, we kind of couldn't quite get over the hump. And then I think later here in the season, we've been able to put it in the 30s and the 40s and be able to really put some points on the board to give ourselves an opportunity. Defensively, I think we were able to play a lot of young players, which sometimes is frustrating in the moment, but I think that's going to add up to being a great improvement for our team for going into next year. So we were able to get some guys some experience. I think just the improvement of seeing and knowing that we have to play better on the road. We didn't do it, but I think just recognizing that is an improvement in and of itself. And so I think we're able to take that in the offseason and be able to detail out what that's going to look like. And you know, I'm really excited to just really reflect and be able to take the learning lessons from this year and this fall and apply them for next fall and for it to even be better.
Well, you'll have your first offensive team meeting on Tuesday. But what are your plans for the program over the next 2 to 3 months before you start preparing for spring ball again?
We've got to finish well in the classroom here in the next few weeks, and that'll be the focus of what we do and what we talk about tomorrow. But Otherwise, we're going to come back in January, and we're going to have about 8 weeks of winter conditioning. And, I want to see a great commitment level out of all the guys that are in our program. And I think we're at a place where there's guys that really believe in what we're doing. They listen to what we say, but we've got to have guys that are able to take the next step in initiating what we're doing and embracing it and really feeling passionate and committed towards what the vision and the mission is, instead of kind of just waiting to feel it out and kind of being, yes, coach, we can do that, but we need more initiators. And I think that's going to be a little bit more of a focus here coming up in the spring, and making sure that we take that into spring ball with us.
Well, signing day will be upon us before you know it. So where are the areas that your team will need to see the biggest needs, and where are your main focuses during recruiting season?
Yep, I'd like to sign a full, complete class. You can never have enough big guys. We will look to sign a quarterback for sure. We want to sign a few linebackers. I think we're very thin at that position right now. DBs, we're going to need to gain a few more of them as well. But I think in general, we're going to need a full, complete class. And if we do that, and if we, which is my hope and expectation, that we match and exceed last year's class, I think we're going to be on the right track and have a great foundation as to what the future looks like.
Well, with about 30 seconds left with you, you have some pretty key returners coming back, and quarterback Patrick O'Brien, as well as Rontonio Stanley, Elijah Williams, and Garrett Barnett. What type of satisfaction does that give you as a head coach, knowing most of your team will return next year?
A lot. It's very comforting, and it helps you as a coach to be extremely confident in what you're doing, and you don't have to tailor things to a new set of ears, a new set of eyes. You've just got to make sure that those guys are locked in more and they continue to mature and develop. And those guys all have the capability to do that, and extremely excited about them coming back.
All right, thank you, Coach, for being with us today and all season.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
And we will take our next break. When we come back, we're going to talk basketball with head men's basketball coach Ben Miller, so stay tuned.